Nature Fix is proudly sponsored by Craghopper, one of the UK's favourite outdoor gear experts. Craghopper and the National Trust have joined forces to create a collection inspired by nature and designed for life. Sales from the range help to support the National Trust's vital work, restoring some of our incredible natural landscapes, from delicate wetlands to boggy peatlands. Together, we are working to look after nature and care for our landscapes for generations to come. Hello and welcome to Nature Fix with me, Claire Hickinbotham. Every month we take you with us as we meet the people who spend their time outside and join them in a place that most inspires them. Today I'm in South Yorkshire to meet gardener Katie McKinder as she helps host 3 choirs and creative groups in a celebration of nature, spring and blossom at Wentworth Castle Gardens. Alongside Katie, I meet some of the people whose lives have been transformed by being part of the choirs as they sing their hearts out in the newly redesigned and replanted Union Jack Garden. So I've come today to Wentworth Gardens in the north of England. I've come along the M1, past Sheffield, past Barnsley, and I've driven into this amazing space that's home to a college and these wonderful gardens that I'm visiting today. And it's a massive great house that the college is based in at the centre of these gardens. And it's quite a unique place because already the area is shared with the college and the gardens are looked after by the trust. But they work with a lot of people from the Barnsley, Sheffield areas who come here and help look after the gardens. And this place is home to a very unique garden, the Union Jack Garden. And I kind of assumed it would be planted up red, white and blue, but it's the aerial view that gives it its name. And what they're doing here is they've divided up the space into the triangular sections and different people look after different sections. Some of those people are here today to perform in a day of celebration, so there's going to be lots of singing, lots of chatting, lots of laughing. So let's go and find out a bit more.
Right, Bethany's bringing bunting.
I've had a little wander around, but grab a gap between sets to catch up with Katie McKinder, a gardener here at Wentworth. So where are we at the moment?
We're currently in the Union Jack Garden. This is really the centre of our community projects that we're doing at the minute at the gardens. So it's quite a community-led site actually. And you can hear the carpet. So we've got our event on today, which is the Voices Blooming, where we've got 3 choirs from 3 different community groups that have been working with the team to design some of the segments in this Union Jack Garden. And this is a celebration of that and celebration of connection to nature.
So the Union Jack Garden is exactly kind of what it is. If you look at it from a drone point of view, it's the shape of the Union Jack, and those triangular segments are looked after by different community groups.
I think there's 13 segments in total, and each group is allocated one of the gardens team, and we basically help oversee their design process and then the implementing. So each of them had like a budget. The gardeners are involved, but we really try and have a light touch so that it is definitely what they want and their space. So some are very like woodlandy, sort of nature-based little animal sculptures, more ecologically, if you like, wildlife piles, whereas some have a slightly more formal touch. We have like a yin and yang garden, which is about mindfulness. It was done by a group of school children. And then we've got the open country segment, which is much more about accessibility. So there's different level raised planters.
Can we have a look at one?
Yeah. We'll go into the creative recovery group, because I do really like theirs.
You're not allowed to have favourites, are
I
you?
know. It's not even my group, but I feel like they took the brief, if you like, and just really made it their own.
And they're one of the groups singing today?
They are, yeah, and they had all the flowers in the segments. And you can see that they've spent time crafting these little wildlife sculptures that are made out of recycled materials. And you do see a lot of butterflies in here, especially early in the season. We've got a massive Philadelphus there at the back that at any time will be flowering. It has such a nice scent. And that was one of the original plants that was in the segments because they were all very overgrown. So I quite liked that it was kept actually and adds sort of height and structure to the segment.
So the garden was completely overgrown.
Yeah, so there was a previous trust that had it, and then there was a short period where it was sort of run on skeleton staff, and so there was lots of parts that were sort of left to, I don't know, do their own thing. But this is one of the segments, well, parts of the garden actually that just became massively overgrown. It's got these mulberries in the centre that each were kept, but yeah, the Philadelphus, roses, a lot of bramble. If you dug down, there was quite a lot of interesting plants, but you just couldn't see the wood for the trees.
And Creative Recovery are a group that are based in Barnsley, and they help people recover from whatever it is they want to recover from by being creative. You know, they've got the choir, they've got the garden. I've noticed some rather colourful crepe flowers being spread around as well. There's a really interesting approach to caring for somebody who feels like they need a little bit of extra help.
Yeah, and space. Like, I think a lot of people don't realise that actually you do need to carve the time out and the space out to process something that you've either been through or you're recovering from. And actually, this is a physical form of that, having the actual space where they can come. And as part of the community partnership group, they can just come and visit as that group and come and visit their segment. And sometimes they'll come and they'll do a little bit of weeding, bit of tidying, but sometimes they actually come and do projects here. So they did a project like a soundscape, and they wrote a poem, and they used this site to build the soundscape, build the birds, and it was this really insightful and poignant poem that they did, and it was really great, and this was the setting, so it was nice for that.
Do you see a difference in people from the point they first come to the garden through whichever group they come through to weeks, months, years later?
100%. I think National Trust talk a lot about spirit of place, and this is a site that naturally just has that, but there's also an element where the people bring the spirit of the place. And I think what Wentworth are really amazing at is really embracing and like enmeshing that sort of sense of community and that everyone welcome. People really do feel, I think, at home here, and especially in their particular segment, you'll often come and just see them reading a book, and they're just completely relaxing, doing their own thing, not being disturbed, but just knowing that they're welcome and feeling a real sense of ownership of the site. So what more could you ask for from a project?
And what about you personally? What do you get out of working in nature? Was it always a given that you would go down this route?
It's so funny because I think when you ask a lot of people about gardening, they'll often give you a story of like, oh, I used to garden with my granddad. But I really didn't have that. I'm very much like a city girl growing up. But I just had a feeling that I would just go into it. And so when I was at uni, even though I did archaeology, I was like thinking about, it a lot. So I did the RHS qualifications alongside my course. I just got into heritage gardens, and then that led me on to maybe more thinking about ecological gardening and sort of nature-based gardening, which I definitely think is my preference, and using nature-based solutions to, tackle environmental problems, but also social and community problems, and try and build that void where there's still such a big gap in access to green spaces. So this project especially is amazing for that. Yeah.
Sounds like it suits you perfectly.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I really enjoy it.
And you've been part of organising the event today, which is 3 of the community groups singing, and we've heard some of them, they've started already. It just fills the space so nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think sometimes people feel nature is separate to us, but it's not. Like, we are a species, we are part of nature. So actually when you've got the birds singing, when you've got the humans singing, the little chattering, the laughing, it builds up this chorus. And it's not been too long since International Dawn Chorus Day, and I think just everyone adds to it. You get the build up and the layers, and it works so well.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much for talking to me.
No, it's been great.
The next song we're going to sing is called The Tall Trees. It's the words are by Wendell Berry, and it's been set to music by our very own Kate Thomas.
My name's Kate Thomas and I lead Body of Sound Women's Singing Group. It came about in 1997 when a friend of mine was leading some singing at another woman's 50th. In the kitchen, the woman said, "Could you start a women's singing group for us?" And so Helen said, "OK." So she started it in 97 and I joined it. Actually, I joined it 25 years ago today, I realised this morning. It's an amazing community. Yeah, it's great to be part of that. And it's just a really nice bunch of women. And it's really nice when you see somebody new come who thinks, "Oh, I can't really sing, but I just kind of want to have a go." And then you see them discover that they can sing, that they love it, and they meet this lovely group of women. And it's just great to be part of. It's always nice to be outdoors. It's somewhere beautiful, and we like a lot of songs to do with the natural world. So, yeah, it's good. We've got this song called the May Song, which we always sing in May, which is just celebrating the earth circling into May time. We sang one today called Big Sky, which is all about sort of taking care of the earth. And there's quite a few people in the group involved in various sort of, climate supportive stuff. So, yeah, that's definitely a theme that we like to sing about.
After the Body of Sound set, I catch up with two of the singers, Julia and Carol, who was using a braille machine during the performance to read the words of the songs.
I'm the only visually impaired person, but it's really nice because everybody makes you feel welcome. It is just a nice place to be, and to be able to go and sing and not have to worry. It's all women. It's nice to know for one night a week we just got all women. We're like a family, really.
We look after each other and there's no pressure, but we all sort of feel the same about nature and about climate, and just by coincidence that we all very much feel the same.
And I think there's something about singing, isn't there? Something about lifting your mood.
Other choirs singing today is the Uplift Choir. It's part of a larger Barnsley group called Creative Recovery that supports mental health and recovery through creative endeavours. I speak to Sharon, who's a member of the choir. I've just been listening to you singing, and you finished up on one of my favourite songs from the musical Annie. It was really uplifting. I had a tear in my eye. It's such an amazing song, isn't it? How do you feel when you sing it?
I'm fortunate that I hadn't lived up here long and found Creative Recovery that was running the choir. So I've been going since about 2018. And days like this just uplift you as an individual and in the group, and obviously the people that are being involved.
Yeah.
And it's the fact of coming into nature, which again, when you look around, is an absolute blessing.
I mean, I am beaming chatting to you. You are beaming. Your choir is behind you, and there's just so much happiness, isn't there?
Yeah. And it is contagious, and contagious in a good way.
Am I able to ask what your personal reason for joining the choir was?
Yeah, it goes way, way back. I've been under mental health services since about 2010. But just finding charities and support networks, and because I worked in the voluntary sector, I'm more drawn towards what they provide. So finding Creative Recovery, and it's not just the choir that's part of them. They've got involved in actually doing a part of the garden up here as well. So there's so many different sort of like roots spreading through as to what they get involved with and how they can encourage anybody in the community that may not think that this is for them, but it's the opportunity and the range of trying things out.
Do you mind me asking you a couple more questions about your mental health? I know it's a very personal thing. How did it affect you before you found all these places?
Quite badly, actually. Total isolation, and that's a very common thing. But when you are isolating, the hardest thing is to actually step outside the door. It's knowing that those people are there does help. But once you sort of take that step, and it is the first step is the biggest step, the benefit that you get.
So it was a loneliness brought on from living on your own?
Yeah. Again, marriage breakdown, divorce, which was awful. And so this is a part of my therapy. You go in, no matter what you're feeling like when you go in, you're bouncing when you're going out. So, yeah, highly recommend it.
Your new family.
Yeah, exactly. More Barnsley family.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
On the way out, I bump into Irina, who has been wandering round the gardens listening to all the choirs.
Gardens is absolutely remarkable. Today I feel is absolutely big paradise. So many people, different generation. And I attend Blossom Choir. And as a not native speaker, right, with a stroke, when sometimes I have a speech difficulties and a memory difficulties, atmosphere was so enjoyable. And songs, I think the best way to communicate is nice weather, happy people, everybody smile. And definitely it's just to recharge my battery so quickly and so simple.
It's a perfect combination, isn't it?
Unique combination, you're absolutely right.
You said you lived in Barnsley for 25 years?
Yes, 25 years, immigrated in 2000, marriage, then divorce. But, I feel Barnsley so special place for me. I'm from Ukraine. 25 years ago, people thinking, why are you going to Barnsley? That is a small town. But now it is war in Ukraine, and I will say I'm very lucky to be a British citizen and enjoy British weather, British garden, British culture, and a cup of tea.
Thanks for listening to this collection of stories celebrating the power of nature on people. Over the last 12 months, Nature Fix has brought you adventures from rock pools on the Isle of Wight to the joy of rotting logs in a haven in the shadow of Heathrow Airport. If you've missed any, why not have a look back? And most importantly, we hope Nature Fix has inspired you to get out in nature, because that's what it's all about. So it's bye from me, but why not head over to Wild Tales, our ongoing nature series with Rosie Holdsworth and Ajay Tagala. Nature Fix is proudly sponsored by outdoor gear experts Craghopper's. Heading out for adventure? Discover Craghopper's National Trust range of clothing and accessories. Inspired by nature and designed to last, each item in the collection comes with a guarantee for life. And with every purchase, you're helping to support the Trust's vital work restoring our natural landscapes. Get ready for your journey outdoors at craghopper.com/national-trust.